More wives and kiddies of Canadian servicemen are off on their adventurous trip to the land of opportunity across the sea.
Among the thousands of war brides who boarded ships to Canada was 20-year-old Sylvia Power. She's now 98 years old, living in Saskatchewan, and she still remembers how she fell in love with a Canadian soldier, Doug Power, in London in 1944.
We felt very close during the 2 weeks he was there, and I was very sad when he left because I didn't know if I'd ever see him again. And we both felt that this was something special. It was all very romantic.
Leaving England was difficult for Power, but when she boarded the boat carrying war brides, she got a very special send-off.
It was the first evening after the war that they were allowed to light the bonfires. And so we saw all these fires burning all along the coast until we got to the Atlantic. So all the girls were hanging over the rail and crying and remembering their childhood and saying goodbye to England. It was very emotional.
Power is just one of approximately 48,000 women who moved to Canada after marrying Canadian servicemen during the wars. A pedestal dedicated to war brides was unveiled in Regina earlier this month, and during the ceremony, it was suggested that there were only 2 war brides left in Saskatchewan. That number didn't add up for Annalyn Sanch, who's with the Canadian War Brides and Families Association.
Well, I was surprised and befuddled because I know from experience that others have come out of the woodwork. I know that in many cases, some of them did not know about any of the War Bride associations because they didn't drive. Their husbands weren't affiliated with the Legion. Social media wasn't what it is nowadays.
She also says some women didn't talk about the war, and since that ceremony, more war brides have contacted CBC with their stories. And for Lillian Wilton, it's quite the story. The year was 1942. The Second World War was in full swing. She was rationing food and helping the war effort. Then she met a handsome Canadian soldier while out dancing.
I don't know, it would just click like that. Yeah, he was on a 6-day leave. I don't know, we just hit it off and that was it.
In a matter of months, Wilton and the soldier, Alan, were married. And soon she and their 2 sons would leave everything behind to start a new life in Saskatchewan.
People were always very friendly, so I have no complaints. Canada's been very good to me. How's that? And I've enjoyed living here.
Like Wilton, Sylvia Power doesn't regret starting a new life with her husband in Canada.
He always said, even to his last days, he always said it's just like a dream. If you've never believed that it all came true.
She hopes more war brides will share their stories before it's too late. Laura Sharpaletti, CBC News, Regina.